Alright, starting back up. Part 3. What are those random cores you were looking at earlier? With, Moscovian? I'm not sure, actually, entirely. I'm wondering if there's, like, an event, possibly, that, releases all, like, the Reich Commissariat just falls apart. Oh. The Army has recently started its yearly military exercise in Ostland, a series of maneuvers and exercises across the country. While some have decried the exercise as decking waste resources, Otto Heinrich Drechsler has announced his pride in the armed forces of Ostland. An impressive endeavor. I'm honestly not sure what... If you're talking about these, at least. I'm guessing maybe there might be an event that, in the case of, the game, the Reich Commissariat of this country just collapsing, there's even more warlords that pop up. Though I'm not sure about that. That's a question we might have to ask via the subreddit. See if they know. The frames are kind of going better now that we have it switched to 4-speed. Not sure about the... Forget. Okay, internal report. But it was not easy. Our internal investigation was more or less successful. We have a solid lead as to where our weapons have been flown to, and even a small paper trail. This has been a major coup for the troubled government, a small but real success story to rally around. Even once harsh critics are coming out in support of the investigation. A welcome gesture regardless of how sticky their sweet words are. The political victory has secured enough financial and military resources to pursue our new lead to its conclusion. Excellent work. On to the next lead. Check decisions. They're not picking favorites. Leaning towards militarism. More towards conservatism. Loyal to Stahlecker. Which is a militarist guy. We'll see what happens. Oh, that's Scania, not Denmark. I was about to say. Or Norway. And Denmark's sort of independent. That's exactly how it's explained. I think they're given more autonomy than the other parts are because we were never technically occupied in this timeline, in this version of events. How are the poor Dutch doing? I feel bad for my my thumb maker guy if he's watching any of these. Cause his family's originally from Holland or the Netherlands. So that's probably a rough sight to see. At least he's not Belgian. That's the best I can say. Belarusian auxiliary police increase their influence. The local auxiliary police in Belarus have recently expanded their executive power in the region. This act seems more and more to be an underhanded move by the Belarusian officials to increase their local control. After Vatuska's attempts at expanding the Home Guard, it's becoming increasingly clear that the Belarusian wants to increase their influence and autonomy within Ostland. Another effect for autonomy. It's getting kind of hot. I'm going to open a window real quick and hope that cools things down. I mean, it's cloudy, so you'd hope that the temperature's going down, but it might just be one of those hot thunderstorms. Though I haven't heard any thunder, so I think we're good. I can't put the headset on right, because it looks weird. Guess we'll try to subvert the council. It's the best we can do. The Belarusian government has undermined our authority for far too long. Vatuska has run Belarus like it is his own personal fiefdom. He has blatantly ignored many of our attempts to Germanize the locals and does not coordinate well with the other region's militias and authorizes the construction of factories and infrastructures at his leisure and personal gain, all without our permission. Admittedly, Vatuska's governance is excellent. The government in Belarusia faces very little partisan activity, and even without our guiding hand, has built an impressive industrial base in the region. Regardless, his blatant disregard of us must not be allowed to continue with impunity. If he wants funding, he'll have to play nice with us. Our military reforms can't can be partially implemented in Belarus to increase our influence in local militias. We can hamper the flow of goods to and from the region. We will make running that administration a bureaucrat's worst nightmare, a paperwork hell, and we'll continue to do so until Vituska and his men get to the point. They work for us, not the other way around. We'll see if that actually works. Let me see. Is that music playing outside? I'm guessing so. The darn neighbors are acting up, playing their music, playing their, I was gonna say hip-hop's music, but what color is Comey now? It is still its blue color, so I'm guessing it stayed Democratic right now. Tom's changed color to purple, so that's pretty cool, but Comey is still blue. So they've stayed Democratic. They haven't gone... I know if they switch to some sort of communist, they turn red. I forget if they go the more authoritarian path, what they turn. Ooh. The United States of America has declared war in Guyana. What is that about? Forbes Burnham has established a despotism. Let's check the factions real quick. We have the Arab League, which is interesting. No one's in it, but that's still interesting. The OFN, of course. We got Belize in that. Mexico isn't. Canada is. We got Iceland occupied. Greenland owned by America. Australia and New Zealand. And then we got the Co-Prosperity Spear. That whole nightmare. Remember Yunnan, of all countries, has a focus here, which is pretty neat. Uh-oh. Burgundy has a nuclear weapon. And China, I think, has a full series of focuses. Which is really interesting. We'll see what's up with Japan. How are you doing, by the way, Europa? Kind of I asked already if you hopped in earlier, but we have a lot of PP right now and not much we can use with it. Minimum wage. So what we got? LGBTQ rights outlawed. Gender roles, women in the workforce. So that's marginally progressive. Minorities segregated. Police. You have acceptable safety regulations. Shrinking unemployment subsidies. Acceptable pensions. Not the best, but acceptable. Illegal child labor. That's something at least, you know? Enjoying the content, waiting for the fireworks. Same here, buddy. Thank God it's cool outside. It's starting to cool out in here. It's starting to feel like a fucking sauna in here. Ooh. In conclusion of our internal investigations, we must refocus our attention to other promising areas. Initial reports indicated that as of now there are two different areas of our country that we can investigate. The Baltics or Belarus. The government has poured more funding and manpower into our investigation. The sheer size of both areas ensures we can only meaningfully investigate one. Again, we must choose. Do we go for Rus or the Baltics? What do we go for? Rus or Baltics? Rus, Bolton, or Baltics? We have an idea how Belarus is, so the Baltics. It's a fair point. Very fair point. We'll actually probably get some work done in the Baltics, so I'll go with that. Alright. We got Estonian culture, Latvian, we got Baltic German, Lithuanian with a large German minority and strong German cultural influence, Belarusian, we got Baltic German over here, and a lot of Belarusian. A little yappy dog outside. I don't know if you guys can hear, but I can. What's going on over in Deutschland? We got friends in the Kriegsmarine. The conservative, they went with, right, they went with Bormann. Expose Spears' hypocrisy, remind them of Heydrich's bloodlust. Right, right. A plea to Germany. They're asking the English for help. France doesn't have a focus tree. Brittany does. France is so fucked they don't even have a focus tree. R.I.P. France. Fuck. And Brittany does. That has to really rub salt in the wound. Alright. Subvert the council. Do we want to get working on one of these guys, or do we want to go ahead and do something else? Or do we want to focus on the Latvians, or work on Yeklin's return? Or maybe not Lanrud's protest. What path do you want to see? I kind of want to... If you mean for, like, factions, like which side of the Civil War, I'm going with Landroot. I'm going for path right now. Like, which one I want to see. This has an event going with it. We'll go with Yeklin's return. Because we get an event that goes with it. Friedrich Yeklin has returned home. He's been away on an official state visit to Burgundy for several months to discuss SS affairs. In all reality, we had no say on who got to go, and frankly, we didn't care. It meant one less fanatic for us to deal with. Yeklin became absent from the commissariat, was pleasant, and gave the suffering small folk some much-needed respite. Yeklin rules the southern provinces like a dystopian dictator, using the SS as his own personal terrorist and boogeyman. So with him gone on administration, and the locals have gotten some respite. His return from Burgundy has been dreaded. Yeklin has far more ruthless than ever. The SS are starting to resemble Dirkelwanger's brigade than proper German soldiers. Oof. And Yeklin only encourages them to brutalize the undesirables with no tact or attempt of Germanization. We need to realign Yeklin before he completely destabilizes Lithuania. Or worse. Yeah, well, I'll work on Yeklin for now. Because he does not sound like a fun guy. Himmler told him he prefers Heinrich. Oof. Probably. Oh god! Streng geheim. I just opened up Himmler's fucking thing and it's Streng geheim. Whew. Is that top secret? Classified redacted? Huh, I'm gonna look that up real quick on my phone. Is that... I guess that's just, if I had to guess, that's probably top secret. Streng geheim. For eyes only. Something like that. Was string behind. Top secret. Hush hush. Shit, we can't even see what Himmler is up to. It's just, String geheim! 9! You cannot feel what you are doing! That is. It makes me want to play fucking Himmler even more now. As fucked up as it will be to play as him. Let's see what's up. The White Ruthenians are leaning towards conservatism. I'd say the militarists have a bit of an advantage right now, but it's it doesn't seem to be like a stark one way, like major bonus. What's Vyatka up to? Partisans attack in Lithuania. Provoking the Latvian population has had the opposite effect that we intended. Instead of decreasing their presence and morale, we appear to have only enraged and emboldened them. Germanized settlements across the region are reporting attacks by an amalgamation of natives and other partisans on garrisons and militias. Germanized settlements across the region are reporting attacks by an amalgamation of natives and other partisans on garrisons and militia, with eastern Letland particularly affected. Regrettably, we will have to shelve any plans for increased crackdowns and rebels' nuances while our men recover. Well, okay. So that bypasses all of that, so we couldn't even go down this path, I'm guessing. Alright, we can do this, and that'll zoom in and out our focus here. That is neat. I like that the, Parvis was included in the, one of the main deal. Excuse me. Jones is doing something to me. You know. Whatchamacallit. One of the DLCs. Expansions. Was it the last one? I forget. Either way. Neat little feature. I'm thinking... how is Germany gonna react to our little issue? Go our little... report it to Germany. I'm curious how far Norway's content goes, because I'd maybe be interested in playing them next, just to see how where that ends up taking them. Though I think I might just end up shelving them in that game for now. Oh, it seems like something quite interesting has popped up. 2 days ago, after being nearly fired on several times, a group of native partisans approached one of our investigators with an offer. In exchange for food and medical supplies, they were willing to divulge information about the attackers, whether out of some sense of duty or sheer spite from infighting. The reasons don't matter too much. This presents us with quite the conundrum. While you're technically under orders to destroy any partisan resistance, the past few years have seen a near-total cessation of hostilities. If only because neither side can afford the resources to crush each other. The squeeze on the investigation also grows tighter day by day. The need for results growing stronger, we must take any lead we can get. Then again, this could very well be a trap. I think we go for it. Give it a shot. And see how fucking terribly it ends up going, possibly. Otto Heinrich Drechsler has proposed the next 5-year budget for Ostland to increase military spending. Drechsler has advocated for the expansion of the military for a long time. He has demanded that the budget is adjustable so that expanding the Army, Navy, and Air Force is feasible. While Drechsler's proposal has met with little enthusiasm from the government, he has received widespread support from the garrison. Preposterous. got a peace conference. The U.S. has defeated Guyana. Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. Alright. So we got Chetty Yagan in Guyana now. What is Tricky Dick up to? Up Southern riots. Considering who leads a Baltic resistance, I doubt is a trap. Yeah. Well, we'll see what happens with Kovner. So remember, everyone's playing, everyone's playing each other right now. We're trying to get as many advantages as possible. As much as Kovner does not like Germans, for understandable reasons, he might be biting his tongue just to kind of, maybe weaken another side. Then again, Kovner is kind of just a fucking madman. Yucklin's gonna be returning in a couple of days. We'll see how that fucking goes. Then after that, we could invite, okay. Italy's won the Italo-Turkish War. Okay. Peace in the Middle East, huh? We'll see how that works. It looks like there weren't much territorial gains. Because I know in theory, I don't know if that's supposed to have one population, but that's a little thing. The best case scenario, I think they get Damascus. Maybe Tripoli, too. And then Iraq gets the top parts that make up now Iraq. Can still go bad, I think. Yeah. I'm sure it can. But we'll see. Oh, wait, just to make sure, which are you referring to? Ostland or, here. Okay. Halt. Seeing several cars and trucks with a symbol of the army moves closer. Palestine, yeah. Yeah, we'll see what happens with Palestine. As with the symbol of the army moves closer and closer to the camp, the SS guard runs from the middle of a road and stops him. The leading car was stopped, and from a window of the guard recognized the face of the man who was sitting in the passenger seat. This is Schutzstaffel property, Herr Drechsler, he says with confidence. I'm afraid you don't have the right to enter without permission from Commander Yekelin, even as the security minister of Ostland. Oh, I thought Mr. Yeklin had informed you that he has accepted a request from the Reich Commissariat to launch a full-scale investigation of all SS camps in Ostland, Drescher says in calm. But on the other hand, you know, there are a number of armed soldiers following me, and I think you don't want to stop us through violence, right? After a while of silence, the guard rushes into the camp and reports everything to the commander. The commander, though knows that Yeklin would never accept such an intimidating request, realizes that he cannot afford the consequences of a conflict with Drescher. Lets them in, and I will personally go to give them a welcome, he says, and then I will call Yeklin on my own. However, what the commander doesn't know that in Riga, Henrik Losa has already received an angry phone call from Yeklin. In fact, Losa doesn't approve Drechsler's action at all, for he understands no matter how evil Yeklin and his men are, it's still not the right time to enrage him, and the SS officers in Germania under Heydrich won't be happy with this. But anyway, Drechsler has made his decision, so what can he do about it? Why are there so many German people in your camp, Commander? Uh-oh. Reich Commissariat Ostland completes focus, investigate the southern camps. Ooh. Friedrich Yeklin, commander of the SS Oberaufschnitt Ostland, has recently returned from his official visit to Burgundy. Yeklin served with distinction at the SS during the Great War against the Soviet menace, and also serves as the SS commander and police leader of Ostland. While Yeklin is a controversial figure within the government of Ostland, while many with many viewing his connections to Burgundy with suspicion. The power he wields with his office is immense and discourages most criticism. Open criticism. Jeckeln was officially invited to Burgundy by Himmler himself several months ago, and met with many of the high-ranking members of a Burgundian SS. Jeckeln himself stated that the visit inspired him to continue to pursue the Germanization of Ostland. Guess we'll have to keep watching. So I'm guessing... I'm guessing we're not going to get an option for these. It'll just be automatically completed. So that'll be interesting to see. Landrut's protest. The industrialists led by Landrut have stirred up an anti-Nazi sentiment in Tallinn. There are currently hundreds of natives and even a few Germans taking the streets to demand better treatment of the citizens and more rights for non-Germans. The industrialists are playing a dangerous game, but it seems Landrut has a conscience after all. We could sit down with him and offer some token reforms, play some lip service, and go on our way. On the other hand, we could just crack down on the protesters and call it a day. We will see what happens, I guess. Low manpower. I expected that would be a problem. We all read shows, I think. Yeah, I think depending on who you pick for this, it just lets it be decided. You know, oh, okay. We already chose when we investigated the SS. That would explain it. I don't know. Well, let me check real quick. I'll check the Discord, see if anyone's talking about anything. Oh! I just got shouted out on the Last Days of Europe Discord on streams and Let's Plays. Thank you guys. Thank you to who posted it. KMT Panda would play China. I appreciate it for the shout out. I really do. Landrut's protest. We'll see how that goes. And now I'm out of soda. I'm running out of water, too. I might do a quick break after this. Well, maybe not a brief break, but a break. And come back later to this. Just because, I'm getting kind of hungry. I also have to go out for my jog. So I might, just stop for a bit. Maybe after... We'll see. The negotiators just returned from their final meeting with partisans, and they bring good news, very good news. Despite high tensions during the exchange, not a single bullet was fired, nor a single man killed. The partisans have what they need, and we have what we need. Undoubtedly, the restraint of a home guard prevented this volatile situation from exploding. Old friends hesitant to fire on one another. Oh. We have manifests, names, locations, everything. Our gamble has paid off, and we're closer to finding the culprits now than we ever have been. Perhaps this arrangement might be beneficial. Yeah, I'll probably wind down the stream in a bit, go for a jog, get some food in my stomach, and then just get going and working on the next part after. So I'll probably say, let's see. I'll figure. Oh. Trouble news from a troubled land. Okay, I don't think Ukraine has a focus tree, right? I think in the final version, the only RK that actually has a focus tree is Ostland. I mean, other than, you know, all the ones from the demo in Africa. Yeah, Mueller, Schenk, Hutig, all these guys. But, we have a lot of stability, especially compared to, like, actually, Muscovian has a lot, too. But, Ukraine is kind of fucked. Caucasian is pretty damn fucked. Ost Africa, Central Africa, Südwest Africa. They have stuff, but I don't think they got any extra content. I think all the extra stuff came from all the stuff they have is from the demo, and that's it. I could be mistaken, but I think that's the case. We'll finish with focus real quick, and then we'll see just what happens. Ooh. Jews have found their Zion, but at what cost? Which Israel is this? I forget. Ostland, Israel. Owning their triumph to the division and fighting in the Arab camp, Irgun, however, is now in control of a vast region populated by an Arab majority bitterly opposed to Jewish rule. Now, what does that remind you guys of? Well, the Jews have their Jerusalem now. Jerusalem. So, you know what, good for them. They get their, freeze. Again with this shit. Mikhail Vituska was, with little surprise, has directly asked for central government for increased autonomy for Belarus. All the moves leading up to the proposal led by Vituska have been to centralize Belarusian power to an alarming level, so that the clear answer is simply decline this proposal. On the other hand, while no elaborate explanation by Vituska could convince the central government that the benefit would be mutual, maybe giving a little autonomy away could lessen bureaucratic stress on the central government while also appeasing Vituska for the time being. We can't concede anymore. Zionist paramilitary, right? Or like the Kingdom of Israel, that's the really batshit one. Trying to remember. Good old Afghanistan looking thick. God damn, son. Okay. In this turbulent world, sometimes you must make great changes to just survive. When those students in Tallinn walked out of their dorms, some of them made their determination to sacrifice their lives for the goals of a government, if the government rejects their calls. But to most people's surprise, the Estonian collaboration government actually did sit down to hear what their voices dealing with the opposite side. I didn't mean to exit out. Right. I'll allow that comment. Yeah, Zionist labor, Zionist nationalists, Nazi Israel. Right, I remember. When negotiations started, Landroot and other protesters immediately expressed their demands, asking the government to withdraw the police and troops in Tallinn University and give the locals more rights and better treatment. The delegates of the government explained that the previous actions about sending the army was just to protect the security of both sides and prevent the crisis from getting worse. Realizing the protesters were still suspicious of our sincerity, the delegates agreed to immediately call back the soldiers and solve the current crisis through peaceful means. Though at the end of this meeting, the protesters and their government didn't reach an agreement on most aspects like political rights of the people, the treatment of locals, the excitement of both sides have died down. Soldiers have returned to their barracks and the students have returned to their classes. While the situation is far from returning to normal, a peaceful solution has, for the first time in decades, become accessible in most public eyes. However, while we're satisfied with progress we made, our operatives in Germania reported that the conservatives are not happy with our actions, accusing us of liberalism and reformism. While for now it seems that we don't have to worry about their slander, a special attention is still required to make sure our government can operate normally in Ostland. The Estonians have overstepped their bounds, apparently. So we've sat down with our leaders. We can either plan the tour or do a military parade. What do we want to do? Actually, I know what I want to do real quick. I want to take a break from streaming and get some stuff done. So, for people watching at home on YouTube, thank you for watching. If you like this video, leave a like. If not, feel free to dislike. Comments down link below if you want to leave them. Read all the comments. Again, appreciate all feedback you might have for me. If you want to send a few bucks my way, I have a Patreon. If you want to join up and chat and play games, I have a Discord. And if you want to just go ahead and watch these when they're filmed live, Twitch. Check that out on the link below. And so that's it, guys. Thanks for watching as always, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.